All right, everybody. It is great to be back with you. We are in episode 7
Wow.
of CX and Coffee.
And they said we were never going to make it.
They said that. Whoever they were, we're going to find you. We're going to find you. And it's our special holiday edition. We're going to take a break for a week, and we'll be back on January 6th with CX and Coffee again. I'm not looking forward to some of the things that we've got in store for today because my good friend, who I do this every single week with,
Marty Shaughnessy,
has put me up to a challenge to order a coffee that I would not ever in a million years do. So I'm going to say to the fine folks at Scooters, my reactions today, I'm sure, is no reflection of the coffee that you put out on a regular basis, but is everything to do with my absolute avoidance of any such drink on any other occasion. Episode 7 of CX and Coffee. If it is your first time joining us, you picked one for the record books, I think, but it's great to have you with us. This is a show where every single week, Marty and I get together. We talk about something tied to customer experience. We review a brand new coffee, and we give you all of the information that you didn't need to know about our previous weekend or our upcoming plans. So great to have you here with us. Marty, happy holidays to you, my friend. Happy
holidays, buddy. Good to see that shirt and your face.
Yeah, this shirt, I've got three Christmas-themed shirts that sit in my closet for most of the year. They're just lonely, the three of them right there. And there's a 2-3 week period where I break them out. So it's good to wear this year.
It looks good on you.
Yeah, thank you. That hat looks good on you.
I've had this hat for a long time.
Yeah, it's a good hat.
So it shapes my head.
Luckily. Yeah, luckily. So, Marty, we're taking a little bit of a break after today's episode. What are you going to do? What does your family have in store for Christmas, New Year's? Any big traditions that you look forward to every year?
Both of our parents are divorced and remarried, so we have lots of places to go and travel during the holidays. Lots of family, and then probably the week in between Christmas and New Year's is a little bit of like quiet time. I think Cindy and I might go down to Longwood Gardens by Philadelphia. That's they're real beautiful down there. You know, it gets a little quiet as far as like doing some work and just try to rest up and get ready for the new year. What about you?
Rest is good. We are not going to travel between Christmas and New Year. Do everything at home. Just enjoy it.
Nice. Perfect.
Not make any set plans. And then on New Year's Day, we will trek up to Pennsylvania for a long weekend to see some family.
Nice.
And then we'll come back on that Sunday before the kids go back to school.
I've been gathering things for when I see you over New Year's. I've got a little bit of a gift bag. Maybe we can do like a unwrapping episode.
We can definitely do an unwrapping episode. I think it'll be a nice little holiday exchange that we've got going on here. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be good. One of the things I look forward to the most is the food. And I don't know about you, Marty, but there's one meal that we have at New Year's Day every year. We don't have it any other time of the year. And it is pork and sauerkraut. That is our New Year's Day thing. We do pork, sauerkraut, mashed potatoes, and then Italian bread with table syrup on it.
What do you identify as table syrup? Like Mrs. Butterworth's kind of thing, or
no? I want to say the brand is Turkey. We can't actually. I don't think we've been able to find it here in North Carolina. We have to do it when we go to Pennsylvania. We buy it's a glass jar. It's not molasses.
Okay.
But it's. I probably shouldn't actually dig too much into what it is, other than for, now 4+ decades, this is every year we have the pork sauerkraut, and so you get the white Italian bread, you put some butter on it, and then you drizzle the table syrup on it, and it's that sweetness to go with kind of puckering your mouth of the sauerkraut.
Yeah.
I love it. I look forward to it. Every year, that is for me. I think the one thing that I'm most excited about is the tradition of that meal on New Year's Day. And now that we moved to the South, oyster roast on New Year's Day are also a thing. But sadly, I think we're going to be on the road and miss the one in our neighborhood this go around.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, pork and sour. So I grew up in Massachusetts. My first 20 years were there, and never heard about the pork and sauerkraut tradition. Then when I moved to Pennsylvania, and we have that Pennsylvania Dutch influence around here. I think that's. Is it German? I don't know. Is that where that comes from?
I think so. My wife's
Yeah.
family is German, and it was a big thing for them to do
Okay.
pork and sauerkraut on New Year's Day.
Yeah, and it's a great tradition. I mean, it's a meal that's not heavy, makes you feel good. They talk about how fermented things are so good for your gut, so it's a great way to start the year off.
Yeah, I love it. Now that it's
I mean,
every time
maybe
I
not the
talk.
table syrup from Turkey, but the brand name's Turkey, right?
Yeah, if I went in the pantry right now, I could probably find a jar of it, but I don't know. There's no positive health benefit of what comes out of that jar. I am
Do, do,
certain.
do you really have one in your pantry? Because I can wait. I kind of want to see it if you
You
can.
know what? You know what we're gonna do for the fine folks here? Now's the part of production magic where Justin's gonna step away for a minute, and I'm gonna be right back with that jar of table syrup for everybody to check out.
All right, awesome.
Marty, I came back empty, but I'm going to find a picture of it. I'm going to superimpose it right here, and that's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
All right. All right.
Huh.
I have to keep my eye out for that.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's good. It is, and it is a good meal. You're right. It's not too heavy, and it's one that also reheats really well. So it's like
Yeah.
there is always leftover, and you go back the next day and just blend. It's so good.
Yeah, I think I almost like it better the next day. It kind of
Yeah.
has kind of like chili, like has a day to meld.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's for most foods. I am curious if other people have interesting holiday traditions, both on the front. Do you find that you travel for the holidays, or you get to stay at home? Do you have to host? But what's the meal for you? We used to do appetizers on Christmas Eve. There's like, of course, like all sorts of amazing food that's like tied in there. What I love are that holidays are just built around eating. The fact that we get to enjoy such amazing food is always a highlight.
Yeah, my wife makes a huge slew of cookies, like maybe 10 to 12 different varieties. So I always set up like, you know what? This year, I'm not going to eat a ton of cookies. And then that doesn't happen. I always end up eating a couple of each kind.
Yeah.
Because we go so many different places, there's lots of food. For us, it's a ham. We go with the
Yeah.
ham, and here's another Pennsylvania thing is ham loaf. Never had it before I was here, and for people who are like, "What the heck are you talking about?" It's delicious. It's not the healthiest, but it is a good comfort food. And yeah, I grind up that with some pork and yeah, it's fantastic.
We love ham loaf. I know that for sure. We have in our chest freezer right now because when we go up to Pennsylvania, we always come back with some because we can't get any here. But yeah, that's a really good one. I think, we'll probably, Marty, at some point, we should just like share some of our favorite holiday recipes. I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like we could do that for
yeah, we
people.
could do that for sure.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. So I love it. Be sure if you're watching along, what's your favorite thing? What's your go-to? Is it a go-to cookie recipe? Is it something special that you do on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day? Raw oysters. I do that on New Year's Eve now. That's become definitely a tradition. Is order some of those. Oh, so good.
That's a big no from Marty.
Yeah, well, more for me. More for me, Marty Shaughnessy. More for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to do this, but it's probably going to get cold because for today's coffee, Marty, what did you text me before we filmed? And you were like, hey, here's an idea.
I don't remember the exact vernacular or the words that I used, but I was talking about you should get the sweetest, sugariest, like have your daughter pick out something from the menu. I know my daughter comes home and she's got something that's like, this is a cookie butter or something with frosting and there's sprinkles all over it and there's something floating in it. It's just like basically sugar with like a dash of coffee.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping what you're going to share right now is in line with that.
Yeah, so there's a coffee place that opened in Wilmington not that long ago called Scooter's Coffee.
Okay.
And I have never been to Scooters because pretty much everything I've seen on the menu involves a lot of sugar. And for the holidays, they have a special Candyland menu, as demonstrated by the Candyland cup here, with a few special flavors. The one that was selected for me, this is the Queen Frostine Sugar Cookie Latte.
Wow. Your dentist is going to love that.
Wow, indeed. Britta, if you're watching this, can I come in for an extra round of cleaning? Just something, just help me out here. Here's what it says about today's drink. We start with our high-quality espresso combined with rich white mocha and buttery, slightly spiced cookie flavors. This perfectly sweet drink can be made hot with steamed milk, cold over ice, or blended to perfection. I went hot. We top it all off with fluffy whipped cream and sparkling sugar sprinkles.
Wow.
Forget sugar plums. The Queen Frosting Sugar Cookie Latte is the vision that'll dance in your head.
All right. I can't wait.
Can't wait. All right, so here we are, Scooter's Queen Frostine Sugar Cookie Latte. There's no whipped cream left, and there's one sad dot of what used to be a sprinkle.
I'm going to love it if this becomes your regular drink.
Nope. Again, fine folks at Scooters. I'm sure you have a fine establishment. Looks busy every time I go there, but next time I'll try your black coffee, please. Okay, this smells. So to me, I get a little bit of peanut brittle.
Okay, yep.
From at least for like this, it smells the sticky sweet.
Like toffee-ish.
Definitely toffee. I don't get as much vanilla as I thought I would have. I would have assumed with sugar cookie it would have been like very vanilla. But it's sweet. Like you can just smell that there's a lot going on in here. So, cheers to you, Marty.
Let's go. Let's do it. All right, one more. While we're at it, just one. Get in there for another one. The first one's for your taste buds to acclimate. Go ahead, go for that second drink.
Yeah, they can get out of shock. I feel like there's chewing gum on my teeth.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's when you know it's good.
Mm-hmm.
What's the sugar level like from 1 to 10?
It's 10.
10, okay.
It's a lot of sugar. Okay, so let's be clear. I'm not evaluating coffee. This is not a coffee drink.
Right.
If you like coffee, you the same person who says they like this does not drink black coffee. You would have a very strong reaction to that. I'm trying, Marty, man. It's like, so a couple things that I want to call out. One's a little disturbing. You know how when you make soup and the top can like glisten from the oils, like if you have like a very acidic tomato, that's kind of happening at the top of this. So I don't know what.
Just the whipped cream and the melted blue sugar sparkles.
Yeah, that's probably right. It's so from an aesthetic standpoint, I wouldn't study that too much. I'm gonna put the lid back on. I'm trying to give you a profile here, Marty. Like, hey everybody, I'm working really hard here to give us something to go off of. Does it taste like a sugar cookie? No, it does not. It does not. I love sugar cookies.
Yeah, which again you would think would be very strong vanilla.
Yeah,
Right? Like it talks sugar, like a white sugar, strong vanilla kind of forward, I guess.
Yeah. It talks about buttery. I also don't get that. I have nothing generous to say about this cup today, but you know what I'm going to say? I love the game Candyland. Growing up, Marty, Candyland was That was my jam. And I don't like how they redid the board.
I
So I
agree.
also have that complaint for the folks at, is it Hasbro? I feel like it's Hasbro. Folks at Hasbro, it is. Yeah, I want to take that complaint up with you as well. Okay. On the cup, caution, heat is a key ingredient. Good to know.
Huh. Interesting. Is heat an ingredient?
No. Um, I would almost say that this tastes more like praline. There it is. That's the
There.
flavor
Okay.
that I get from this. Yeah. And I do think because I had the like I would almost believe like if you told me this was like an almond brittle or something, I would buy that as a flavor. Not I would not purchase it. I still would not purchase it. But I would believe that this was more like a nut brittle type of latte than sugar cookie.
Yeah, it's interesting you're getting the nut because that wasn't in there at all, was it? In the description?
No,
No.
no, no. Yeah, and who knows? That could be some carryover from whatever the coffee actually tastes like. Because
Oh, that's true.
I haven't had their coffee, so I'll have to give that a try sometime. But yeah, interesting experiment, Marty. I'm never going to listen to you again when it comes to this type of challenge. But hey, you got me to do it one time, so now I'm going to switch. So another first on CX and coffee. I was ready. It's like I'm going to have a big old jug of water.
How's that?
Okay.
Is that Wilmington Tap?
That's Wilmington Tap. Yeah,
Okay.
it's our finest. So, all right, everybody, Scooter's Coffee. If you are into the sweet, decadent kind of drinks, this is 100% your place. I think it's super fun that they did the Candyland menu. Not for me, but hey, lots of things aren't. So, shout out to y'all. Thank you for helping me get my sugar intake fully satisfied for the holiday season. As we go into the holidays, I've been thinking about what we could tackle on today's episode of CX and Coffee. And there are lots of things that I have on my list for us to explore. But I was like, you know what? It's the holidays. A lot of conversations have been happening in my house about whether you're landing on the naughty or the nice list. And I thought maybe you and I just share some of our recent experiences, and maybe we can even put those experiences on the naughty or the nice list. I know I've got at least one for each that comes to mind, and I'm curious, is there something for you? Maybe we start with the naughty list first. What experience would you put on your naughty list from this past year?
Yeah. So I was recently pricing out my holiday Declan Media T-shirts, and I went into I was looking at 3 different companies, and I was trying to access my previous purchases through this one, and it was for whatever reason I couldn't get in. It was glitching, so I reached out to customer service, and I just never heard back from them. It was like one of those things where you're kind of hunting, like, all right, support. Okay, nope, I don't want to. I don't want to chat. Okay, let me just give me. I'm old school. I want the email so I can just make sure, quote unquote, make sure it gets there. And this was last week, and I still haven't heard anything. My nice list, I would say, is I had gone in, made the purchase, and after I had approved, I was seeing if we could make an adjustment. I did, you know me, I'm pretty chatbot averse, but I was like, all right, let's go with it. So I went in, it asked me 2 questions, and then at one point it was like sending you to an agent. So I'm like, all right, let's see how far this goes. They connected immediately. And this person was able to help me very, very quickly and was great to work with. So, custominc.com, great job with the customer service, and I'll keep using them. It was just easy. Like we've talked about it before, and I just like, all right, I just brace. It's almost like I take my hat off, get comfortable because I'm like, here we go, and you just start typing, and it just seems to go in this kind of loop. But they were great. They picked up quick, and they were able to help right away.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned Custom Ink there. This probably is at least a decade ago. I was making a considering a purchase with them, and I had a conversation with someone through chat, and we had a shift the conversation, and they were able to, at that back then a decade ago, easily shift from that person I was chatting with to being on the phone with them. And I thought that was really well done. And a lot of organizations, sounds simple, but a lot of organizations even today still struggle to make that happen. So
Yeah.
I've long been a fan of Custom Inc.'s customer interactions design and how they think about providing service. So that's a good one to land on the nice list. As for your naughty list, ghosting is not okay in any circumstance,
Yeah.
but shocking to see that happen from an organization, especially one that you're considering giving business to. Not surprising to me that it happened over email. Email seems to be a neglected channel where a lot of organizations don't have good response time initiatives into place. And what that really is their process for identifying when an email comes in and how quickly they respond.
Yeah.
Because if you think, unlike a ringing phone, it's easy to delay getting back to that person. It's easy for that work to get lost in the shuffle. So even though using your own words, you can make sure that it gets there, that doesn't make sure anybody does anything with
Is
it.
gonna look at it.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a
the
good
challenge.
point. And maybe I need to switch. Maybe I need to kind of move over. But I mean that seems to I think that's just that old school part of me that's just like I feel like that's going to get to a person, but maybe you're right, that's definitely down on the tiers of the ye old chatbot.
I can see curmudgeony Marty in 20 years from
Yeah.
now, just shaking his fist at the emails.
Yeah.
They're not checking the emails.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly how you're going to do it too.
Well, my kids are in their early 20s, and it was an they had to learn to check their emails. Like as they started getting adult stuff, I was like, guys, you got to check them, and they just didn't.
Yeah.
That just wasn't a part of the thing. I'm gonna get an email hat, like email number one.
This is, I'm still working on my Marty holiday list, so I'm gonna add that to the potentials in there. That's
What
awesome.
about you, buddy? What's your naughty and nice?
My naughty is a chat interaction, but it's not the chatbot. The chatbot did its job. There was a service that I've been evaluating, and I was on a trial, and it was a longer trial. I want to say it was probably a 90-day trial. And I knew that we were getting close because I had a reminder in my calendar to evaluate whether or not I wanted to renew. I log into the tool's backend, and on my admin console, it tells me that I have negative 20,000 and something days left in my free trial. That's silly,
Yeah.
and it's not correct.
Yeah, that's interesting.
In the meantime, I was looking at, whether I'd cancel or whether I'd renew, and I had pressed a button, and the button wasn't functioning. And at this point, I was like, okay, I want to bring this to their attention. A, I want to find out how much time I have left. B, there was a special offer that it was showing that if I was going to renew, that I was going to get, 50% off of the annual price. And then this button wasn't working. So I chat in, and I had a screenshot. Like, this is not my first rodeo. Like, hey, I was on this page, this type of browser. Here's a screenshot of the error that I encountered. Couple questions. How much time is left in my trial? Am I eligible for this promotion? That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Chatbot got me as far as the chatbot could get me. Prompts were built really well. It also identified when it needed to get a human in the loop.
Okay.
And so it shifted me to the human. Person, no acknowledgement of the silliness of the negative 20,000 days, no apology for the confusion on the discounting, the functionality. All they said to me is, you've got 1 day left in your trial. That's it.
That's it.
Everything was fine until I got to the human. And then they had no interest in helping me with the bug, with the promotion, all of this kind of stuff. So I'd said to them, I was like, I do think I'm interested. but it would be, I definitely would probably want the discounts, but like just nothing, 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 nothing. And I ended up posting about that on LinkedIn a couple weeks ago. The kicker, this is the update for you, Marty, and everybody who's watching this that I didn't get to have on my LinkedIn, is after it expired, they charged me anyway. Even though I had put that I wanted to cancel, I got charged for it, and I was not planning to renew. So I messaged them, and I kind of went further. Cool thing was they refunded me, and I've got a year use of the platform. So
Okay.
that ended up being, I think, a pretty cool outcome. And it's not like the other thing is it's not a lot of money. Like, let's be clear, viewers, Justin is absolutely pinching pennies on this particular purchase. So it wasn't like, crazy, but I did think that was cool. But it was shocking to me how the live human was the most inhuman part of that experience, and it was just kind of disappointing for me because the product is, can be helpful, but you have to justify, like, if things go wrong, is this going to be the attitude and demeanor of every person I encounter with this business?
Well, and it is tough too, because that person might have just had a bad day. They might have just had a bad phone call, and now, you know what I mean? Or maybe they were I mean, it's possible that they could be, people juggle chats, right? So I feel like well, the timing is, they write back, I write back, then a simple question, and I've got to wait a couple minutes. So I picture somebody kind of like with a Neil Peart drum throne with like 5 different, like, you know what I mean? Like responding to everybody.
They can use one computer for that, Marty. They're called Windows. And
yeah, but it's not as fun as like making a drum reference. But so,
hold on, my fax is coming in.
The woof, wasn't that The Office? Like the woof was like on everything. So yeah, that's a tough one, because one incident like that, and I know for me, it's been like, I'm not working with this company again.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a failed process, but sometimes it can just be someone having a bad day. It's tough. How do you train? Well, I guess that could be maybe a future episode. But how do you train for that? Like, how do you coach people on? I think about Disney, where it's like, when they talk about the cast of characters who are like in the park, and it's like, if you're Pluto or something like that, Pluto doesn't have a bad day. Like, Pluto's going to do your thing. You know what I mean? Again, we can pick this up on another episode, because that's probably a deep dive, but it's interesting to, like, when you see somebody who's maybe distraught, maybe there's something going on that isn't even work related. How do you coach them through that?
Yeah, we can definitely go even deeper on a future episode, but I think for even the sake of today's conversation, there's real value in spending time on teaching your employees how to take ownership of situations, how to better empathize with what that customer or patient or like whatever that person is, like, with what they're going through. And it just takes a moment of intentional pause, assessment, and then engage. It's to your point, that agent maybe was feeling pressure of like, I've got to move between all of these things, most likely because what they were being measured on and coached on was that. But if we're measuring and coaching on how well does Marty acknowledge the customer's circumstances, how well does he position himself as a helpful guide, in what ways does he demonstrate empathy and understanding of their circumstances, like, if I'm evaluating and coaching and working on those things, they will naturally manifest in my environment. But if I'm always like, Marty, we've got 4,000 queues lined up, you need to fire up your 7th laptop over there, different situation. Then I have that panic.
The gong, right? And now you're adding a gong behind you. Like, that's
it. It's only in the sales contact centers where they add the gong.
Right, okay.
Every one deal is
yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
It's what we focus on. It's what we give attention to in our organizations. Like, that is what will show up, right? You can expect what you inspect is what a mentor used to say to me. And if we're inspecting the right things, then we should expect them to be the outcomes that we're getting in our organizations.
Yeah. Solid. All right, who's on your nice list?
I had the coolest interaction about a week ago now. I was sitting after dinner and was checking my email, and I had an email from Delta.
Okay.
I love Delta. Anybody who knows me knows I travel a lot, and anytime that flight can be on Delta, it is on Delta. But I actually booked a personal trip for my son and I recently, and I used awards to do it. Well, I get this email from Delta, and they're like, hey, when you booked your award ticket, you should have received a 15% discount, including taxes and fees, on that ticket. And you didn't get that discount. So we've gone ahead and applied that discount and refunded it. Marty, I didn't realize I was eligible for the discount.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't notice it was gone. I didn't bring it to their attention. But they not only have the systems and tools in place to monitor for this type of thing and proactively do the right thing, but what landed them in my nice list is that that's not a tool and technology thing. Like, tools and technologies do whatever a strategy guides them to do.
Yeah.
And that to me is that it was demonstrating that Delta has a culture of doing the right thing for their customers. This could have easily been, you think about the economies of scale at play with Delta Airlines, and if this is happening a lot, that's an extra bonus for the CEO. But instead, they're finding those opportunities where they didn't do the right thing, and they make sure they do the right thing, even without it being called to their attention. Right? It's proactive. It's intentional. It's very strategic. Look, I was already a fan, but that's one that I immediately shared, and it got a bunch of people were engaging with it, because it is like, it's a moment of just absolute brilliance from a customer experience standpoint. So probably haven't said it enough, or I can't say it enough, but serious kudos to Delta. Really, really impressed by what they're doing to understand and serve their customers.
Well done, Delta.
Well done.
Well done.
Yeah. If you want to send me free companion pass for life or anything like that, I'll get you my Sky Miles number. So just slide into my DMs, Delta, and we'll make that happen.
There you go.
This was a good one, Marty.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I hope everyone has the happiest of holidays, and since we won't see you until the new year, just think about, I guess maybe come January we'll talk about big plans for 2025, but it's just for me, I think it's a big time of reflection, and I'm just super appreciative that we got to start this year, and for your friendship and being able to work together in 4 different businesses. So I think that's pretty cool. I appreciate you, buddy.
Marty, I appreciate you. It's been a lot. I mean, our entire relationship has always had so many fun moments, but this has been an enjoyable new chapter with you as we do this thing that we've been talking about for a long time, as we start to explore and work on a bunch of other cool and fun and interesting things together. Gosh, it is so much fun doing this thing with you. I'm excited to jump back into things as we kick off a new year in January. I'd love to hear from all of you. What are things that you'd love us to explore? Don't forget to send in your favorite coffee shop, or we haven't done really any non-coffee beverages yet, Marty, but I think that's something we can expect in 2025 is, CX and coffee may branch out a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Until next time, we appreciate all of you. Thank you for tuning in to CX and Coffee, the show where we talk about customer experience, weekend shenanigans, and every week explore a brand new brew. I'm Justin Robbins, along with my good friend
Marty Shaughnessy.
And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.